What's going on, everyone? So one of the things that I've talked about all offseason, ever since the Lakers acquired pretty much the entire roster, was that I believe they will be a very good three-point shooting team. I don't necessarily mean like top five or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're somewhere in like the 15 to maybe even the 10 range. I think it'll probably be closer to like the 15. I think personally they'll probably shoot around like 37, 36.5%, somewhere in that regard. And that would be good enough to put them, if we're going off of last season, be good enough to put them in that like 15 to 12 range. Now, obviously, if they could get into the top 10 or top 5, then that would just be even better for their offense. But I look at this roster, and we have several very good three-point shooters. And so far in the two preseason games that we have played, we've been very good shooting the three ball. Now, of course, I understand it's preseason. It's the first two games of preseason, but I don't think that this is an outlier because the guys that are hitting the threes are the guys that you would expect to hit the threes, right? So in the first game of the season, we shot 38%, or preseason, we shot 38% from three, and that was without Taurean Prince knocking down the threes. And many of us just looking so sloppy and just not ready to play, right? And then even with that, you had a 38% three-point shooting night. And then this game, you look at this, and it's like guys start hitting, and we finished the game at 36%, but that was with the whole fourth quarter basically being our G League team. So again, we shot around 38% going into that fourth, where all of our rookie guys all came in, the Colin Castletons, the Shafinos, guys like that, right? And they didn't shoot the three ball very well, but you look at the usual suspects, and it's like Austin Reaves was 4 of 6 from three. D'Angelo Russell was 4 of 5 from three. There are two best three-point shooters, and I've talked about this. They both shot over 40% last year. They're both very likely going to shoot 40% this year. Like, them alone is going to make us a very good, formidable three-point shooting team the entirety of the season, because these are two guys that are very likely, again, going to shoot 40+% from three and are going to just be a very dynamic scoring just backcourt for the Lakers, right? And that in and of itself is exciting. But then, you look at like Taurean Prince. Like I said, the first game of preseason, he was rough. This game, 3 of 5 from three. He's been a 38 to 40% three-point shooter, right? Pretty much his entire career. And he's even promised that I'm going to shoot 40% this year. I wouldn't be shocked if he does, right? And so you got him at 40%. So there's three guys right there that can shoot 40%. Gabe Vincent was a little rough in this game, 2 of 7 from three. But he's a guy that has shot 38 to 40% for his career. All right, he's had some rough seasons, and then even last year, he wasn't great from three, but in the playoffs, he got right back to 39%. So my hope is that he can have that translate and kind of be a better shooting night, which it should, because, you have LeBron James, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reaves, all these guys that are going to be able to create shots for Gabe Vincent, and for even, a Taurean Prince. I mean, we saw Taurean Prince getting wide open shots. I mean, wide open. And knocking them down. And that is even an adjustment period in and of itself, right? When you go from being on teams and, you're constantly being glued to because, you're one of the better three-point shooters and teams aren't really giving you space, to like all of a sudden you're wide open on a regular basis. Like, even that takes, like, an adjustment period. Because you're used to just having a hand in your face. You're used to having guys run out to you. And all of a sudden, you're just, like, wide open. It just changes things, right? Especially in a real game situation. And that's going to happen a lot for these guys because, again, you got LeBron James. Even Anthony Davis and his ability to draw attention down low, right? And drive and kick. But then, like, beyond these guys, right, you have Rui Hachimura, who he's looked very good, very fluid shooting the three ball. I could see him getting around to like 36, 37%. That would be nice this year. Jared Vanderbilt, he didn't play this past game, But the first game of the season, he was 2 of 3 from 3, and he's worked like a madman all off season to develop his 3-point shot. Can he get around to 35, 36%? So again, you start piecing these things together, and it's like, okay, you got Reaves, you got D'Lo, you got Prince, all 40+%. You got guys like, let's say, Gabe Vincent and Rui shooting, let's call it 37%. And then you got a Jared Vanderbilt, let's say, shooting at 36%. Hopefully LeBron, he can get to 36% this year. He was 1 of 4 from 3 again last night. I'm hoping that doesn't continue. I mean, can't be much worse than he was last year shooting the 3 ball. But also Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was 2 of 3 from 3 in the first game and 1 of 3 in this game. So he's starting to knock down the 3 ball. If he can get a percent, you start putting this together, and it's like, oh, okay, wait, like this team could be 36 to 38%, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on how some of these other guys. And Christian Wood has been atrocious from 3, and he's a career 38% 3-point shooter. So you got to imagine at some point he's going to turn it around, and he's going to start knocking down threes. I just look at this, and to me, it's like, can LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Jared Vanderbilt knock it down at a respectable clip? Right? Because Anthony Davis, too, I mean, he's looked good so far in preseason, and I'm pretty confident he's going to knock it down with some efficiency just because, he just looks confident. Right? Like, the last few years when he's shooting threes, you could tell he's, thinking about it. He's just in his own head. AD has looked good shooting the three. Even the shots that he's missed were, right there. Right? So he's looking good. He's looking comfortable. He's looking confident in that 3-point range. So I don't think he'll be a problem. But, LeBron James, man, he's been atrocious from 3. And the problem is he's high volume now. Right? The guy played yesterday. He played 17 minutes and got 4 3-pointers up. Right? He averaged 7 threes a game last year. When your highest volume 3-point shooter is shooting, 20% from 3, it's of course you're going to have a bad percentage. Even last year, we would have been pretty good. We wouldn't have been a great 3-point shooting team, but we would have been half decent if LeBron wasn't shooting, 1 of 7 every game. So I'm hoping that if he doesn't have it going, is willing to kind of take a step back and not force it. But I don't mind, because I know a lot of people don't want LeBron shooting threes at all. I don't mind it. I don't care if he shoots some threes, because he has historically been at least, around 36%. And he's always been streaky, right? He's a guy that, he'll go, 6 of 7 one game and then go, 1 of 7 the next. And then it just, at the end of the year, just kind of averages out to 36%, right? But him at his age, I don't mind him taking the 3-point shot regularly. And I don't, because if he is hitting, that just opens things up so much more. That just makes it harder to defend the Lakers if he's knocking down some threes, right? I just don't like when LeBron is 0 of 4 or 0 of 5 and is well, let me take another 5. Maybe I'll make the next 5. And it's dude, you're shooting us out of the game is what you're doing. Stop. Because again, he can't every possession anymore just put his head down and get to the basket, as much as we would love him to. And it's also, for me, it's also timing for LeBron. Last year, how many times did we see the Lakers up 1 or down 1, and it's instead of him putting his head down and getting to the basket, he just takes some step back 3, and it's dude, you're killing us here. Those things. Or we have a momentum swing, right? And we just went on a 10-0 run. We were down 8, now we're up 2. And it's LeBron's taking some half-court 3-point shot. It's dude, just stick to what's working, that kind of thing, right? That becomes the problem, and that's where our percentage could drop. And I know a lot of people don't like me criticizing LeBron, but he literally is our worst 3-point shooter. And he has been, right? And he had this first preseason game, and again, he was our worst 3-point shooter. Right? He shot 25% from 3 again in this game. So it's becoming a trend now with him, and I'm hoping it turns around. I want him to knock down the three because that's good for the Lakers. But I want to see them also be a good 3-point shooting team. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think the Lakers are going to be good from three? Do you like what you've seen so far this season? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments.